Are you dreaming of expanding your business, but concerned that you might be taking the leap too soon? Only 50% of businesses survive past the 5-year mark, and that's due to premature expansion most of the time. So let's talk about that. What if you could confidently know the right time to expand your business? And I'm not talking like, I think I'm, no. I mean, no, it's the right time to expand your business. Many believe that growth is good, but expanding too quickly can actually be bad for your business. It can hurt more than it helps. Frankly, I've experienced this personally too. I've tried to make new hires at points that I wasn't really ready. And so I'm not just saying this because this is what the statistics say. Like I'm part of that statistic, all right? Strategic growth, though, once you step into that, is really what sets apart the successful businesses from the unsuccessful ones. Now, then the question becomes, well, do I ever expand, right? If you're stuck between staying where you are because it's safer and expanding is riskier, you're not alone in that struggle, all right? Expanding can be risky, but with the right planning, it's actually a risk worth taking. And you're risky as it is because you started a business, many of whom don't. So here are 3 signs that your business is ready for expansion. Number 1, you have consistent revenue growth. So ensure that you have stable cash flow and a track record of profitability. It's not enough just to have the revenue, not enough just to have the money coming in at the top end of it. You want to make sure that it's coming in at a consistent time frame. You know that the cash flow is flowing. You're collecting on time. Your expenses are far less. The outflow is far less than the inflow. And on top of that, you have money that's going and setting aside into savings to help afford that expansion. Number 2, scalable processes. You want to confirm that your current operations can handle increased demand without actually breaking down. This is something that I've actually been experiencing firsthand lately as well. It's been stated a lot that I should do targeted ads, I should pay for ads. But you know what? I am not set up currently in my team infrastructure to withstand that type of demand. There's some operational work that I get to do first. And so in the same way, what I would encourage you to do is take a look at your business infrastructure and ask yourself, are you able to scale your current systems and processes? Do you have SOPs in place to streamline and seamlessly train new hires in order to make sure that there's no hiccup in the day-to-day operations? Is there enough business to support hiring new people? Is there enough systems around the communication and accountability in your team operationally right now to justify that expansion? And if the answer is no, then you're not ready for it yet. You want to make sure that you build out that infrastructure first before you fill the infrastructure. And then number 3, market demand. Research your target market to ensure that there's actually room for growth. If you're in a highly coveted area for your services and there's so many other competitors out there, your expansion might look a little different than it would in an area where your services aren't as coveted. Maybe your expansion means buying out your competitor, right? Think outside the box on what your expansion actually means. So now let's talk about 3 mistakes to avoid when it comes to expanding your business. Number 1, if you expand without that solid financial cushion, if you don't have that emergency fund in place, and I'm talking at least 3 months of your operating expenses set aside, you're doing yourself a disservice. I would even go as far to say as get a line of credit while you look financially stable and you don't actually need it before you need it. Because as you're expanding, if you have to tap into it, you've already qualified. You already have access. It's a lot harder to qualify for a line of credit when you need it, which kind of sucks, but it's the truth. Mistake number 2, overlooking the importance of team capacity. This can be talked about in 2 different ways. Number 1, your team might have more capacity for work than you realize. And so by hiring more people, sometimes team members become less efficient. So that's thought process number 1. Thought process number 2 is maybe your team is really efficient and they're already at capacity, which means they don't have capacity to train somebody new and they can't wait a while for you to hire somebody new to help out. This is an issue, right? What I would encourage you to do is have some type of metric in place where you get to identify if your team members are performing efficiently. And number 2, once they get to the point where they're at 80% capacity, you should start looking for another person to start helping them. Because if they're 80% capacity, they get to take some of their time training that new hire, whereas you would have to take the time to train that new hire. Number 3, ignoring market research and trends. You don't want to expand if the demand for your services are decreasing. So maybe your expansion is not doubling down on what you're currently doing. Maybe your expansion is adding a new revenue vertical in your business. Now that you know how to assess your readiness for expansion, I encourage you to come back next week. We're going to talk about how you can actually make that happen. All right. We're going to have a fractional CFO. I don't think it's going to be me. I think it's going to be somebody from my team. They're going to talk about how you can actually transform your business to make sure that that expansion is not just a dream, but reality. So stay tuned, come back, and we'll see you then.